way to teach your young kids about financial concepts like return on investment in ways that are fun and relatable? Yes, there is, says Ron Lieber. He's the personal finance columnist for the New York Times and author of the book, The Opposite of Spoiled, Raising Kids Who Are Grounded, Generous, and Smart About Money. Thanks for joining us, Ron.
Thanks for having me on.
I love the book. It tackles many complex topics for parents as they're trying to raise responsible, unspoiled children. And rather than just saying, you can't have that, we can't afford it, or because I said so, you have other strategies for parents that are more effective in how they should communicate to their kids.
Sure. So, one of the things you can do is trying to get the root of why it is that they want this thing. Why do they yearn for it? What is it that's causing them to want to have it? And you can give them tools to help them make better decisions about the money that they do have. And you want to keep it limited, right? So they can only get some of what they want.
It's called the fun ratio?
Sure. So the thing about the fun ratio, this came from a family that I interviewed, and they dreamt it up when the kids were little, and they wanted this talking Tigger doll where you press a button and Tigger says something, and it was all the rage that year that the kids wanted it. But what they realized afterwards was the talking Tigger really only had like 50 things to say, and after that, talking Tigger wasn't so interesting anymore. So they tried to calculate the amount of fun they got per dollar they spent, the hours of fun per dollar. It turns out talking Tigger did not have a very high yield.
And this ratio, you say, works best with wants, not so much the needs. Why is that?
Well, it works well with wants because presumably kids have a limited amount of money, a limited budget, a limited allowance for the things they want. So we need to teach them to make trade-offs, to figure out what's going to deliver the maximum happiness.
And I think what's great about this ratio is that while it teaches you more immediate value, like this toy has X value to me, it also teaches life lessons down the road, right? It kind of makes you a more conscious consumer. It could.
I think it could. Look, I mean, these are things that adults are constantly wondering about, right? For adults trying to figure out the difference between wants and needs, or between this want and that want, it's useful to have a benchmark, and I think this one can go a long way in life.
So let's use an example. If my son comes up to me and asks for a video game, he must have it. I really don't want to get it for him. How do I put this ratio into effect and actually have a teachable moment with my son?
Well, if he's already a gamer, you need to ask him to look into the past, the recent past, and see how much time he has spent with each of these games that he has played. How many hours of use did he get out of them before he tired of them or abandoned them or they broke? And that way he can actually literally calculate the ratio and figure out the hours of fun he got per dollar he spent. And that may well be predictive of what's going to happen with this next game.
But when you're 7 years old, do you really get it? Do you really appreciate it?
I think you have no choice, right? I mean, the rules are the parents to make.
The rules are the rules.
And if you want your allowance, you got to learn how to use it. Look, I don't believe in connecting allowance with chores, right? Allowance is a tool for learning, and the only responsibility that you have when you get this money is that you have to practice with it. And a part of practicing is putting these rules to work. There's no way around it.
Ron Lieber, thank you so much. Everyone, the book is called The Opposite of Spoiled, Raising Kids Who Are Grounded, Generous, and Smart About Money.